Hello everyone, in the part 1 of MongoDB, we have talked about what is MongoDB, how we can create a database in the MongoDB shell, and we have studied some basic commands. Now in this session, what we are going to do is that we are going to study a new library, and this library is used to integrate, or you can say to write our MongoDB command within our JavaScript file. For example, till now in MongoDB part 1, what we did, we have studied about Mongo shell. Mongo shell is a interface in which we can create or write Mongo commands in that. And in the previous session, I have shown you in online compiler, we have studied how we can write commands, how we can create a database, perform CRUD operations on the database like insertion, adding, deleting, all this sort of things. We have understood how we do that in online compiler, basically in a shell. Okay, and in backend we have been doing Node.js and Express separately. So till now MongoDB database and backend Express are two separate entities, and we don't know how we can integrate or how we can add or write this MongoDB commands within this JavaScript file, or basically Express file. So to write MongoDB commands within the JS file, right, we use a library, and the name of that library is Mongoose. Okay, and one more thing you need to remember here is, if you remember, Node.js is a runtime environment of JavaScript. Right, here in Node.js interface you can write JavaScript. Similarly, within the JavaScript file, let's say this is my JavaScript file, so JavaScript will understand the JavaScript commands or prompts, whatever we are writing. Let's say I'm writing let a is equals to 10. So what JavaScript will understand that let is a keyword, a is a variable, is equals to is the assignment operator, and the value which I am assigning. So JavaScript has a certain syntax. Now to write our MongoDB is a database language. Here we will write our query commands, right? Here we will create our databases, all this sort of things. So the syntax and the writing format of MongoDB is different, and the writing format of JavaScript are different. So this two, MongoDB and JavaScript, are two different entities. Now if I want to write JavaScript, okay, MongoDB in this JavaScript file, let's say I'm writing db.save and I'm saving something. Okay, so what will happen is that JavaScript will not understand what is this, and JavaScript will throw me error. So here, to tackle that, to write our database commands, our MongoDB database commands within the JavaScript file, we use this library. Mongoose will tell us how we can write our MongoDB command inside this JavaScript file. First point, it will help us in adding our MongoDB command directly. Instead of writing in shell, we can directly come in within the same file. You can write your backend, you can write your database code. So this is the first advantage of Mongoose. So Mongoose will help us. It will help us in writing MongoDB commands within the Node file. Right, Node is basically JavaScript file. This is first command, you can say advantage. And the second advantage is it is based on ODM library. So here ODM library is used to differentiate which is MongoDB and which is JavaScript. For example, here in this file it will have MongoDB commands plus JavaScript commands. So my JavaScript, this file should understand which is a MongoDB command and which is a normal JS command. So to differentiate this, like to differentiate or to find which is MongoDB, which is JavaScript, to tackle this we use ODM library. So here ODM library is used to differentiate which is my MongoDB and which is my normal JS. And second thing is that, let's say I am creating a student database. Here for example I am creating a student database, and in student every student will have a name, every student will have class and age. right? So here let's say after creating this database, I'm inserting values into this database. For example, Jabir is a student one, like let's say student one is Jabir and his class is 10th class, age is 11 years old, something like that. Okay, and let's say I'm creating another student, so this student too will also have these three things. So here the second point is ODM helps us in maintaining the schema of the database, maintaining the schema of the create database. It means that schema is nothing but a structured, or you can say a order which is followed by the create database. Okay, I hope you have understood. Schema is nothing but a structured that every object has to follow. Here is in the student database, if I am creating student 1, student 2, student 3, whatever the student object might be, it should have three things: name, age, class. So here this every student object is following the same blueprint, right? Schema is nothing but blueprint. So here schema is the blueprint of your database. These are the two things which you should remember whenever you talk about Mongoose. Mongoose is used to write our MongoDB command within our JavaScript. First point. Second point, it is a ODM library. The full form of ODM is Object Data Modeling, and Object Data Modeling has two key features. First one is it will differentiate which is MongoDB and which is normal JS. Second point is that it will help our create database to follow a schema. If there is a mismatch within the structure, if there is a mismatch in the schema while creating the value, here if I am creating student 1 object in my database and I am not giving the name, then my ODM will give a error. I hope you have understood what is Mongoose and what are the two main points which we have to remember. First one, this is first point and this is second point. Now let us understand how we're gonna use it. So to use Mongoose, it is a npm package. So here what I'm gonna do is that in my files, first of all I will create a file. I will create a folder. Let's say in my C drive, users and Daja. Here I will create a new folder. Let's say Mongoose is my folder name. So Mongoose. Okay, now after creating this Mongoose folder, I will open my VS Code and I will open this folder in my terminal. So here there are some existing files. Let me close it and I will open the folder. Here users, Daja, and where is my Mongoose? Okay, yeah, this is my Mongoose folder. So I will open this folder. Now after opening this folder, we have to install the npm package of Mongoose. So for that, I will trust the author and I will search npm Mongoose. So this will tell me how I can install my Mongoose package in my folder, in my create folder. So to install Mongoose, here we need to write npm I Mongoose. So first of all, here what I'm gonna do is that inside the Mongoose folder, I will open my terminal. Here I will write terminal, new terminal. So you can see this is my new terminal. Here I will close the debug console. Okay, now first of all I will create my JSON file. So here npm init underscore y. So this will create a JSON package in my folder. Okay, after creating JSON package, let me zoom it. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is that I will write npm install, and what is the command I have to write? Mongoose. So this will install my Mongoose package. Click on enter. You will see that in my modules I will get Mongoose module. Here I will be having MongoDB, you can see, and Mongoose. So this is how we will install our Mongoose package. Now to run our Mongoose package, we need to understand one concept. So let me come back to my PPT. We have understood how we can install Mongoose. Now to run Mongoose, there is one thing you need to understand. In the part 1 of MongoDB, in the part 1 of MongoDB, we have studied about Mongo shell. Mongo shell is a environment where we can write our Mongo commands. Okay, now I have told you, if you remember, I have told you that in part 2 we will study a application, and the name of the application is MongoDB Compass. Right, so here MongoDB Compass is a application which we download locally to run our Mongo server. Here what this will do is that I will create a Mongo server, and here let's say this is my VS Code files. Inside this I'm having index.js file. Now in this file I'm writing my Mongoose commands. So to write our Mongoose commands we need to create a database, and to create a database we should have a server, we should have a Mongo server. So what we will do is that we will connect this Mongoose with this local server, with this MongoDB Compass. I hope you have understood. Now you guys have to, if you haven't installed MongoDB Compass, just go to MongoDB community and install, click on install MongoDB Compass, and it will automatically start your download process. Now in my computer, I don't know why, but I am having some error. So for that, what I'm gonna do is that instead of using MongoDB Compass, I'm gonna use MongoDB Atlas. MongoDB Atlas. So what is MongoDB Atlas? It is also a application which is used to create servers of MongoDB. It will do the same work, but this will be online. Here MongoDB Compass is used to create local servers which you can use in your computer, within your computer locally. If you want to host it, right, if you want to host your MongoDB or Node application, then you will use, in that case, MongoDB Atlas. And most of the times whenever we are creating real-time applications, we use MongoDB Atlas all the time. So here I will show you, this is the added advantage because MongoDB Compass is not working in my computer. So I'm gonna show you how we can use the concept of online servers to create our MongoDB server, to create our server, hosted server, basically a cluster, and this cluster, this server is used directly, and whatever the commands you do now locally, that will directly reflect online. So here I will show you the application of MongoDB Atlas. Here I will search MongoDB. Let me remove all this, Atlas. So here you can see this is the MongoDB Atlas. Now if you haven't created the account, then just click on get started and you can create your account. Let me show you as well, account creation, MongoDB Atlas. You can see this is the initial application of this. Now click on get started, and you need to create your account. You can do that through GitHub or Google, right? Just log in through Google and you will be redirected to this interface. Let me show you. I will log in with some random account. I'm not gonna show you. After login process completing, you will get this interface. Here I have logged in with my friend's account, right? Here you will see the name of the account and who is the main admin, all this sort of things. Now to create our online server, we call online server. Here the thing you need to remember here is that we use a word, and the word is cluster. Cluster is a place, you can imagine that cluster is a three-dimensional space, and inside that we are having different objects. For example, what example I can give? Okay. Let us imagine a retail store, a showroom, right? In a showroom, not exactly a showroom, a shopping mall. So in shopping mall, you will be having groceries, you will be having items like clothing items, skincare items, electronics, right? All these things. So here shopping mall is a big place. Inside that you will be having different categories. Similarly, cluster is a big place, and inside that you will be having individual databases, individual servers. Okay, now here I have created a server for my old application called as imaginary hub cluster. Right here I can directly connect the cluster, or else I will create a new cluster. So here when I click on new cluster, it will ask me what is the name of the cluster. Now initially when you create your first cluster, now you will be having three options. First one is M30, M10 and free. I have already created my cluster, that is why I'm not having a free cluster. Now if you are using for the first time and you want to just test it out for your mini projects, then you will go with free option. Okay, now here I will give my cluster name and in which area I want to create my cluster. We will be having options like Malaysia, Hyderabad, Singapore, the server which is nearest to you. You're gonna choose that. Now after choosing Hyderabad, I will click on create cluster. Now when I click on create cluster, now automatically a cluster will get created. Right now I'm not having any free accounts because there is already few clusters which I have created. I'm gonna use those clusters. For you guys are creating for the first time, so here you will not have any payment system. Make sure that. Here I will come back. Now I will use the cluster which I have created, imaginary hub cluster. It is a testing cluster which we have created in previous days. We're not using that anymore. So here after creating cluster, you will click on connect, and when you click on connect, now you will be redirected to this page. And by using this line, by copying this single line, you can directly connect your MongoDB Atlas with your application. Whatever the application you are creating now, you can connect that with this cluster. I hope you have understood now. Here what I'm gonna do is that first of all, after installing the application, I will create a new file. Let's say my file name is index.js. Now in this index.js, the first thing we should do is to import the Mongoose package. Here I will write const Mongoose is equals to require Mongoose. Now what this is very similar to our what you can say Express. Here what we'll do, after installing the Express package, we require that package. Right here the same we are doing. First of all, we are requiring the Mongoose package. Now after requiring the Mongoose package, we need to use it. So to use it, we are gonna write another command, and the line is mongoose.connect. Here I will give the link, whatever the link I have given, right? So after giving the link, I will create an object. These are the permanent lines, you guys. So here use new URL parser and give it true. After that I will write use undefined and unified topology. These are the standard lines, right? So here this will create a cluster. This will connect your cluster with your local machine, okay, with your this Mongoose application. Here I will write true, that's all. So here you can see I will be having this link which is given by my cluster, and in that link I will be having the username and the password associated with it. And remember guys, when you create the cluster, now you will be given a password, and that password is very important, and you need to keep it as a secret. Never ever share your admin username and password with anyone. I am showing you the password because we are not going to use it, and after completing this session now, I will immediately delete the cluster. Okay, so this is the thing you need to understand here. The password is very secretive. Using this password, you will get access to the admin block, or you can say admin side of your database. right? So never ever share your password when you're making real-time applications. Now what I'm gonna do is that I will paste the password here. You can see, first of all, I have required the package. After requiring, I have connected this Mongoose with my cluster. Now the thing you need to remember here is, let me come back to my PPT. Here Mongoose, we have studied what is schema now. So here Mongoose will always return a promise. Promise is nothing but, let's say I'm running a command. I'm running a MongoDB command. Now this command, let's say I'm finding in my student database, I'm finding a student which is not there. So what this will do, it should give me an error. It will show me that that particular student which you are searching is not available. So if the command has run successful, then I will use then callback. If the command is having some error, then I will catch that error and I will show that error to my user. So here, whenever you run Mongoose command, it will return a promise. Promise is nothing but true or false. So here, what I'm doing is that I'm running a command. And this should give me a callback. If the callback is successful, then I will show to my user, right, console.log. Here I need to give this line. Console.log MongoDB connected. Okay, so here try to understand, whenever you run error, if there is error, then I will give a callback, console.log error. Okay, so this is how we write a single command. This is connection command. Okay, now if the connection is successful, then I will tell to my user that the connection is successful. If the connection is not successful, then I will tell there is error and I will show that particular error. So this is how we connect. First of all we require, after that we connect our MongoDB with our cluster, our online cluster in this case. Now the next concept we are having is, before creating a database, we define the schema of that database. Here you can see I am having name, email, age. Similarly, we are talking about a student database. So a student database will have age, name, and what course is studying. So here I will write const student, let's say student schema is equals to new MongoDB Mongoose, new Mongoose dot schema, and here I will give the schema structure of my database. Name is a string. After that age will be a number, and our class, or you can say course will also be a string. Like this we define the schema of the database. I hope you have understood. And schema is the blueprint of our data. Here let's say I am creating a student database. Student database will have whatever the student might be, whoever the object is, it will have these three things. First one is name, second one is age, and the third one is course, right? Schema is the blueprint, and through this blueprint we will create our database. Now we have created our schema. The next concept is model. Model allows JavaScript to interact. So here let me write it. Schema is the blueprint of our DB, blueprint of our database. I will write blueprint. I'm repeating the words again and again, but I want to tell in a very simple way. That is why I'm going very slow. DB, right? Schema is the blueprint of our DB. Now here the thing you need to understand is, we are not running MongoDB in our shell. If we are running in our shell, then we don't have to think of whether our MongoDB will get executed or not, because we are running MongoDB in shell, and shell is built for MongoDB database. But here the thing you need to understand is we are not running in shell, we are running our MongoDB in our JavaScript. So here to tell our JavaScript that these are the commands you need to execute, we have to create a model, and model will tell our JavaScript how to interact with DB. Okay, I hope the commands are very clear to you guys. Yeah, so here before creating or before we start inserting the data into the schema, the object, the database we have created, which is in this case student. So before that we need to create a model, and this model will interact with our JavaScript. So here I will write const student is equals to mongoose.model, and here I will give the name of the model. Student is the name, comma, which schema it should follow. It should follow student schema. So this is the model, and using this student model, I will interact with my MongoDB within my JavaScript. Okay, got it. Now here, this is how we write initial commands. This is the basic structure of writing our MongoDB within our node. Okay, now let us understand CRUD operations. Here we have studied what is model. Now we will talk about how to create. Basically creation is nothing but insertion, how to insert, how to find, delete and update commands. We are gonna learn CRUD operations in detail. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is that to insert a single user, first of all we have to write const username and new user. Here I will write const student, because in this case our object is a student. Student1 is equals to new student, and inside that I will give the schema structure. Here we will be having name. Let's say name is Jabir, and his class, age, he is 19, and class course is computer science, CSE. Now I can create also another student, const s2 is equals to new student, and here I will write name blah blah blah, something like this. By writing this line, we can insert the values into the model we have created. Here what is the model? Our model is here, user is our student is our model. So in this model we are gonna store the student1 value, student2 document, like this. So let me insert first, and similar to this we can also insert many commands by just writing comma. First of all we'll write insert many, and we'll give array of elements. Here we'll give, this will be our first element, second element, third element. Elements here are nothing but single individual documents, and every time you run it you should give the callback. If it is successful, then data is successful. If it is unsuccessful, then tell to user it is unsuccessful. It will always return a promise. Mongoose will always return a promise along with the command. So I'm gonna write, first of all, let's say I want to create a new student. So I will write const new student is equals to new student object, which is basically my model. In this, let's say name is Jabir and his age is 18, and course is COURSE, course is, let's say, CSE, computer science. This is how we insert one object at a time. One object, or you can say document, whatever you want. These are basically terms. If you are clear with the concept, then terms will not matter that much, right? This is how we insert one student at a time. Now if I want to insert many students at a time, then basically I will write student, our model name, dot insert many, and inside this I will give the array of objects, square brackets and array of objects. Here I will give name in the curly parenthesis. Let's say name is Khan and age is 19 and course is some medicine course, MBBS, right? Here write MBBS. Now if I want to insert another student, I will write name. Let's say name is Sarah and age is 20 and their course is, let's say course is math. I will write math. Okay, and again here I need to give parenthesis. Okay, like this I can insert a single object at once, or I can insert multiple objects in my model. So this is how we insert. I hope the screen is very clear to you guys. Multiple objects. Now let us talk about finding command. Here we can find one object at a time, and this will return a promise. If the object is present, then it will return the key value pair. If the object is not present, then it will throw me a error. And similar to insert many, insert one, we have find and find. Okay, here we'll have find command. Find command is used to find a particular thing inside our database. Okay, if we want to find only one thing, then we'll write find one. If we want to find all the key value pairs, all the documents which are having this key value pair, then we'll just write find. Let's say I want to find all the commands, right? I want to find all the students who are having some key value pair as something like that, right? So here I'll write student dot find, and if my find command is working, then I will write students console dot log and whoever the students are there, right? I will print those students. Basically what I'm doing is that in my database, if there are some students, then basically I'm printing it. That's all, right? Now if I want to find a particular student, let's say I want to find one student at a time, then what I'm gonna do is that I will write my model name dot find one, and inside this I will give constraint. Let's say I want to find a student whose name is Sarah. So here I will write Sarah, and if the student is present, then I will write student. I will print the information of the student, console dot log. I will print the information of the particular student. Okay, if the student is not present, then I will write catch. If there is an error, then I will write error console dot log error, and I will copy the same thing and paste it here as well. I hope you have understood what we are doing. Here let me remove it. Okay, here in the first command I am finding all the students. Whoever the students are there, I am taking them and printing it randomly. Now if I want to find a particular student, then I will write the constraint here. This constraint will only find this key value pair, find those documents which is having this key value pair. This is how we use find command. Now let us understand how we can update a particular key value pair in our MongoDB server. So to update a particular thing in our MongoDB, we will write, let's say I want to update the name of a particular one, then I will write name age. So this will update the name and age of the particular student. Here I will use it, and I can also update one student at a time or multiple students at a time. Let's say I want to update the course of students who are having CGPA more than 9. Let's say I want to assign a new course to these students who are having CGPA more than 9. Then I will write user, my object name, model name dot update mini. In the parenthesis I will write age greater than 45, right? Here CGPA greater than 10. If this is the case, then I will update the value. So here this will like take my condition, and this will like implement the updation. You will understand when I show you. So for updation command, here I will write update. We have two methods. First one is update one. Here let's say I want to update student dot update one, and I want to update the name. Let's say I will write, I want to update the age of Sarah. So here I will write comma and age. Let's say Sarah age is, in my database you can see Sarah age is 20. Here you can see Sarah age is 20. Now I want to change it to 23. Here I will write age 23. And if the command is successfully run, then I will write console.log student updated. Else I will write catch command. Catch. If there is an error, then I will print the error to my user. So here I will write console.log. I will print the error. Like this I can update one thing at a time. If I want to update a set of things at a time, then I will write here, let me show you, update many. Here what I'm gonna do is that I will write my same database to student database dot find many, find one, and update. Let's say I want to find one thing and I want to update all, for all that thing I want to update it. Here I will write name, let's say Sarah. We are doing a lot of operations on Sarah today, but yeah, let's say I want to change the course of Sarah. Let's Sarah course is math. I want to change it to CSE, and I want to write something like age or new, true. I'm writing some random things. Here I'm changing the whole structure of Sarah. Here you can see I'm giving multiple callbacks, some course, some this things. So here if we want to update many things related to one object, then we'll use find one and delete. I will write then update student console.log updated value I'm printing, update student I'm printing. Okay, after that if there is error, again same thing, I'm repeating this thing again, right? Console.log error. Okay, let me remove. Okay, and here also remove. Okay, now this is how we can update particular thing of a single object. This is how we can update multiple things of a single object. Now this is about creation, finding, updation. Now let us talk about delete. Let's say I want to delete a particular thing in my database, then I can do that using delete command. So here let's say I want to delete one object at a time. So here I will write student dot delete one, and I will give the key value pair. Let's say I want to delete the student who is having name Jaber, right? I will give, and if there is, the operation is successful, again I will print. I'm doing the thing again and again, but yeah, I hope you have understood the concepts here, right? Delete student. Okay, if the object is not yet deleted, if there is an error in deleting process, then I will print that error. Console.log, I will print that error. Like this I can delete a single object at a time. Similarly, if I want to delete many things at a time, many objects at a time, then I will write delete dot many. Here I will write student database student.delete, and I will give many, and inside this whoever I want to delete, like let's say I want to delete the entire database, then I will leave it blank and I will write then and console.log and all students deleted, and again if there is error in deleting, so catch ca.catch catch, whatever the error it is, we will catch the error and we will print console.log error. Okay, like this we can insert. First of all, let me do a revamp. First of all, we will require the package. After that, we connect our cluster with our package with our Mongoose. After that, first of all, the first and foremost thing is declaring our schema. After declaring our schema, we will create a model of that schema. Model is nothing but our database. And for that database, we have seen how to insert one object at a time, insert many objects at a time, finding command, finding one command, updating one, updating many, deleting many. Okay, these are about CRUD operations. Now let us talk about another important thing, which is schema validation. Okay, schema validation is nothing but creating some constraints in our schema. For example, let's say I want to create my database in such a way that I'm creating some application, and for that application the minimum age of my user should be greater than 15. Okay, so for that what I will do is that I will give the minimum age. While I am creating the schema, I will give the constraints along with it. This is known as schema validation. So here what I'm gonna do is that while giving the age, while creating the schema, I will give what is the type. Type is number. Here I will give number. And what is the constraint? The minimum age of the user should be 16 and the maximum age of this user for this particular application should be less than 60. Right? If I am creating this sort of constraints in my application, in my database schema, then we call this as schema validation. I hope you are clear. This is the last concept. Okay, schema validation. Schema validation is nothing but while you are creating schema, creating constraints within it. If your application is greater than, only for users greater than 18, then you will give minimum age is greater than 18. And while inserting, let's say here the minimum age is 16, and while inserting I am giving some value as 10. Then what my MongoDB server will do is that it will give me a error. Like this, we can create, insert and perform operations in my database. I hope you have understood how we use Mongoose command. So this is about Mongoose package, and this is how we integrate our MongoDB in our JavaScript. Now in the next lecture we are going to study how we can integrate our Express.js, which is our server, our backend, with our MongoDB database. With that being said, and after completing MongoDB database, we will go into React. Within two lectures we will start React right away. I'm really excited to cover React because it is really interesting concept and at the same time very easy to understand. Yeah, so with that being said, I think the lecture is around 45 minutes. I will stop here and I will see you in the next one.